organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, records revealed. We have some answers to questions regarding the Sunday night shootout in North Liberty.
And anonymous accounts. Do certain social media sites cross the line when they post racy photos of other students? We talk to the faces behind the accounts.
And in sports, 2 Hawkeye Hoops teammates make All Big Ten team. We'll tell you who in just a bit.
We'll have all that coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for joining us for your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Nicole Meehan.
And I'm Lauren Moss. We have new details regarding the fatal shootout between police and a University of Iowa graduate student Sunday night. 28-year-old Talib Salameh shot 3 police officers after they responded to what was originally a domestic disturbance call. Salameh was killed during the incident. This cell phone video was taken by Daily Iowan TV on Sunday, which shows the incident at the Holiday Mobile Home Park in North Liberty. Questions emerged as to why the graduate student even had a gun in the first place. Records released Tuesday show that Salameh's psychologist wrote to the sheriff, giving him the okay to get a gun permit. As reported Monday, the UI Dean of Students had discouraged the sheriff from granting the gun permit, noting he had, quote, serious concerns, end quote. The 3 officers wounded in the shooting remain on administrative leave.
Many people don't know that when they check agree when signing up for social media sites, they allow other social media users to post photos of them. But what happens when we find our face on a social media site that is not ours? Daily Iowan TV reporter Kelsey Clemmy investigates.
In the digital era, people spend much of their social life online. Sharing photos, videos, and content with one another is a way to stay connected. In Iowa City, another group of people are joining in, anonymous and parody Twitter and Facebook users. They usually focus on a theme, such as party stories or parodying problems of an Iowa student. I was able to catch up with @U of I Passouts, an anonymous Twitter user, about what it's like to be in charge of a secret account.
Being anonymous, you feel kind of more connected to the person, even though you don't know them. You feel like a little bit safer that no one technically really knows who you are.
These parody and anonymous accounts have become so popular that Twitter has actually made a policy on them. As long as a user doesn't use someone's real name, or if they do make it very clear that it's a parody account, Twitter says that that's okay for the account users to make.
Whether or not students find this account funny, they certainly find it addictive, as nearly 600 people followed the account. However, Twitter isn't the only platform that uses this type of social media. This popular Facebook page has over 20,000 likes and also goes into different Iowa City establishments and films these types of videos that are featured on the page. However, not all students find this page funny. Adrian Slade created the page Stand Up for Your City, Iowa City, so that people could voice their concerns over that page.
I think the fact that I saw a lot of my friends on the page, and they were kind of portrayed as, like I said, just kind of senseless party animals, and I think if they kind of saw that too, it'd be funny at first, but then after a while they'd kind of be like, oh, okay, maybe that's not, not something I should be flaunting.
Usually students are able to solve the problem by just simply asking the account owner to take it down. If they do run into more problems, Student Legal Services is always available for UI students. Kelsey Clemmy, Daily Iowan TV.
And still to come on Daily Iowan TV, city officials talking sweet treats and new condos. Later, we'll tell you what else you can expect to join the Iowa River Landing area.
And in sports, 2 Hawkeye hoop stars receive Big Ten honors.
That's coming up in just a bit, but now we're going to check in with Daily Iowan TV's Whitney Blakemore for your local weather forecast.
Whitney, a lot of eastern Iowa communities are under a flood watch right now. Do we have to worry about the rising waters here in Iowa City?
Well, Nicole, the large amounts of snow and rain mixed with higher temperatures has affected areas along the Iowa River. But Iowa City is not yet one of them. Also, the National Weather Service has stated that we will probably see temperatures above normal for the rest of the spring. and this week's expected forecast is proof of that warmer weather. But before we get ahead of ourselves, tomorrow morning will start off sunny with a high of 27, but the temperature will increase by the afternoon to about 36 degrees. As the day comes to a close, it will start to cool back down to 27 yet again. Now, like I said earlier, expect the weather to warm up as we go about our week. Thursday and Friday will reach around 50 degrees for a high, but also have about a 20% chance for rain. For the weekend and Monday, the temp will slightly cool back off to the low 40s and partly cloudy skies. Well, that's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Construction crews are already getting started on the new projects just outside of Iowa City at the Iowa River Landing. City officials announced Monday that more than $30 million worth of construction is coming to the area right next to the Corville Marriott Hotel. The new projects will include a Scratch Cupcakery, a Joseph A. Bank, a nationwide men's clothing chain, and new residential apartments. Planning efforts for the area have come from citizen groups, the City Council, and consultants. Phase 1 of the retail Main Street is expected to begin this spring.
A proposed bill by Iowa Senator Tom Harkin might increase funding for organizations dedicated to helping people with disabilities. If passed, the Eunice Kennedy Survivor Act will provide funding for Special Olympics and the Best Buddies Iowa program. A volunteer with the Best Buddies of Iowa said they would use the funding to pay for an expansion program to help the intellectually and developmentally disabled after they turn 21.
And now let's take a look at what's happening outside of Iowa City. Egypt's financial crisis continued today as the nation rejected a $750 million rescue loan. The International Monetary Fund recently agreed to a $4.8 billion loan to rescue Egypt's failing economy. The deal fell through due to Egypt's severe political turmoil and violence.
The judge in the case of the Colorado movie theater shootings entered in a not guilty plea for defendant James Holmes. The defense stated that Holmes was not personally ready to make a plea. Holmes is facing 166 counts of murder and attempted murder. If convicted of the killings, Holmes could be handed a life sentence or even the death penalty.
And now we're going to throw it over to Ian Martin, who's standing by in the Daily Iowan Sports Studio and ready to get you caught up on everything black and gold. Ian?
Hello, welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. I'm Ian Martin by myself on this Tuesday edition of the program. After a tough outing at the Big Ten Championships in Champaign, Illinois, we'll bring in our wrestling insider Cody Goodwin in a bit to give us the scoop on what's gone wrong for the Iowa Grapplers. Hawkeye Wrestling coming off back-to-back unimpressive showings at both the national duels in the Twin Cities and most recently at those Big Ten Championships. But let's start tonight with some news from the hardwood. Junior Roy Devin Marble and sophomore Aaron White carried the black and gold through large stretches of the 2012-13 campaign, and their contributions have not gone unnoticed. Both Marble and White were named third-team All-Big Ten selections by the media and league coaches, respectively. Marble led the Hawks in points per game this season, averaging just over 14 per contest, while his teammate White led the Hawks in both rebounding and steals. Behind the play and leadership of both Marble and White, the Hawkeyes eclipsed the 20-win mark and had their first 500 record in Big Ten conference play since the 2006-2007 season. Michigan's Trey Burke earned Conference Player of the Year honors. Tough to argue with that. Wisconsin head coach Bo Ryan, unanimous selection for Coach of the Year. As promised, though, it's a special wrestling-heavy edition for you as Cody Goodwin's going to step on set to break it all down. And Cody, first, we'll get the national news out of the way. You and your fellow wrestling reporter at the Daily Iowan, Sam Luwaji, found an interesting piece in the trash at the Big Ten Championships.
We did. You can see the picture there. Sam did post it on his Twitter account. Got just a few retweets to make a little bit of national news, but it is the medal that does belong to Matt McDonough, who finished second place at 125 pounds at the Big Ten Championships. I actually did witness him walk off the podium and deposit the medal into the trash can in the case and all. And so, and actually, funny story, nobody believed me when I told them that. And I hate to say I proved them wrong, but everybody saw the medal, so, and that's really all there is to it.
Possible misinterpretations about what it means. It seems to mean, at least objectively, that Matt McDonough is indicative of Iowa's higher standards, that they just don't accept second place. But the Hawkeyes got third place at the Big Ten Championships this past weekend. They got third place at the national duels as well. So what's been happening to the Iowa Hawkeye wrestling program.
You know, it's funny that we're saying that something could possibly be wrong with the Iowa wrestling program, because when you look at it on a paper standpoint, fourth at the national duels out of fourth at the national duels out of how many other wrestling teams in the country that didn't even make the top 8, third in the Big Ten Conference, the toughest conference hands down when it comes to collegiate wrestling. It all looks really good, but when it comes to the Iowa standard, they're just not quite, hitting par, if you will. And, when it really comes down to it, Iowa wrestling team, the Rustlers, just when it comes down to it, they're showing small stints and small spurts of being national championship contenders, but at the end of the day, they're just falling a little bit short each and every time.
So you mentioned a little bit of the right spots. We've seen spurts, but what does this team have to do moving forward going into the national championships, the NCAA championships?
It's obviously the most important tournament of the year, as head coach Tom Brands will tell you if you do ask him. But if you also ask him what's wrong and what needs to be fixed, he will tell you the same thing he's been saying since the Ohio State duel on January 4th. Iowa team needs to finish, whether it be shots, whether it be matches, whether it be tournaments. They actually started off really well on day 2 at the Big Ten Championships. They came within a half point of Penn State before Session 2 started on Sunday, but they just weren't able to, as Tom Brands said, finish the job. They went 3-6 in the last session, and that resulted in Penn State running away with the title, and it even included Minnesota to hop Iowa and go ahead and take second place.
Well, you've already had a little bit of notoriety this week, Cody, but we're going to put you on the spot one more time. So the NCAA championships coming up. Who's your team champion and who's your individual champions from Iowa, if anybody?
If anybody from Iowa is going to win it, I'm going to go ahead and say 157-pounder Derek St. John. I like to see him with redemption. And as for the team title, got to go ahead and give it to Penn State. They're just too good this year.
Well, as you said, the Big Ten Conference, probably the best conference in college wrestling. Well, that'll do it for us on tonight's edition of Daily Iowan TV Sports. For Cody Goodwin, I'm Ian Martin. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, we would like to wish a special congratulations to the new incoming Daily Iowan editor-in-chief.
The DI's publisher, Bill Casey, announced Monday evening that Kristen East will be taking the seat after current editor-in-chief Emily Bussey graduates this spring.
The current Metro editor and sophomore at the University of Iowa says she already has plenty of goals for the future.
My plans include making the paper a more visual one so people will be driven to pick it up and just read our content more than they do right now. I also want to increase our presence on the web, just making the day-to-day function of breaking news one that people will go to our website first rather than our competitors.
East will begin her new position in June.
Yes, congratulations to Kristen. We look forward to working with you. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about the CoLab. See how University of Iowa entrepreneurs are finding a new workspace after graduation.
And speech outreach. See why a new early intervention speech therapy method may be reaching out to students as soon as preschool.
And that's it for your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
You can check us out anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thank you for watching and have a great night.